What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in. It's 1TS Daily live right here at One True Sport. I'm your host, Zack Heydorn. It's Tuesday, so I'm on the road. I'm in my special, kind of setup here in downtown Chicago, but it's awesome to be here. I'm glad you're here with me. Thank you so much for hitting play on the show this week. We're live right here on the One True Sport YouTube channel every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 11 a.m. Eastern-ish, to talk the news of the day in pro wrestling, to talk show previews and show reviews and everything in between. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. It's good to have you. And if you can help me out and hit like on the video as you watch, man, that'd be big help as well. So thank you in advance for doing that. Helps us with the algorithm. You guys know what it's about. Helps us grow the show. Helps us get in front of new eyes. So please hit like. If you're watching on Twitter, well, thank you for joining us as well. Appreciate you being here. And we got a big show planned. And going into kind of like a quieter week up until the weekend, where we've got a bunch of stuff happening. So thank you so much for being here. And if you're on Twitter, it's that heart. It's the little heart button. So like that as well. And that certainly helps us out. I've got the live chat open and ready for people to jump on into. Sean is already in there. And Sean says here, "What up, Zach? Raw was fun as always." What's up, Sean? Yeah, Raw was good this week. We're going to talk about it here in a minute. But yeah, I thought thumbs up show for sure. Thank you, Sean. Thanks for being here live, man. Always a pleasure. If you want to get in on the conversation and you have something to say, or maybe you want a topic addressed, just drop it in the live chat and we will get to it. If you want to absolutely positively make sure that your question or comment or rant gets read and addressed on the show, leave a super chat. That's the way to do that. If you are able to make a contribution that way, please do. And I certainly thank you in advance for that. Any contribution can help. So thank you in advance for that. And we will get to all super chats before our 25 minutes is up here. Cool. All right. So here's the game plan for the show today. We will talk WWE Monday Night Raw from last night. We'll talk about the New Day. We'll get into that segment here in a minute. And then we'll also preview tonight's episode of NXT and then drop some knowledge on you about the show at the end of the show today. Cool? All right, let's go. So the New Day kind of imploded last week or last night on Raw, did they not? I mean, that boiling point between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston has been brewing and getting hotter and hotter and hotter for months. And finally, we saw it boil over. We saw the implosion begin. And I thought it was just a tremendous segment for the New Day as a group, but also specifically from Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. I thought that they were wonderful in presenting like that argument and that fight. For one thing, I think a lot of people can relate to having that kind of fight with somebody you're close with at some point or another in your life, whether it's a friend or whether it's a family member or whether it's a husband or wife. When you're attached to somebody for so long and you go through like ups and downs with that person in a fight like that, things from the past can come up, that have manifested for a while that don't really get addressed. And then when you're in the big moment of having a fight, then you bring it up. I mean, everybody can relate to that. So I think this feud and that segment in particular was very relatable in that regard, because everybody has been there before. The two guys were able to kind of needle each other and take jabs that stung. And if you know the New Day history, and for example, yesterday Xavier Woods said, "Hey, it wasn't you alone that won that world title. It was me. It was me. I helped you do that. And then, as Xavier Woods says, and you basically, flushed it all down the toilet when you lost to Brock Lesnar in 6 seconds. Like, everybody, the WWE audience saw that story play out and were on, their side with that in both instances. I mean, Kofi Mania stuff at WrestleMania 35 and on the reverse end of Brock Lesnar beating Kofi Kingston in 6 seconds, and felt that. And so to bring that up and to needle uh, Kofi that way, man, wow. I mean, that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut that hurts on multiple levels. And then for Kofi to kind of battle back on that and go, hey, great, whatever, say what you will about my title reign, but where is your world title reign? You don't have one because you're too reckless and basically you're not good enough. I thought that was just a really great way to kind of frame up their budding hatred for one another and their budding rivalry together. It was emotional. It was personal. It was genuine, authentic. The points were real. And the end result was this very like tension ridden segment with all kinds of drama. And it came at the right time because next week you have um, next week the New Day 10-year anniversary celebration. So, going into that, you have a doubt in your mind as a fan as to whether or not they're going to be even able to stand out there next to one another and appreciate their time together. So I just thought it was a really excellent segment, and they've been heading down this path for a long time. And in my mind, like kind of have hung on a little too long and not hit go on this feud like they did last night. I just didn't know how much more they could do with this kind of back and forth, but it really worked. It really worked last night. And so props to the creative team, props to WWE, and big time props to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods for putting that out there. I think this is going to be a WrestleMania match. I think this is going to be something that they try to hold to until WrestleMania. I mean, it seems worthy of that. As far as next week, question will be, do we see Big E? Does Big E come back to get involved in this feud in some way, to try to talk some sense into his buddies? That will be interesting to see. We haven't seen Big E on WWE television proper in quite some time. So this will be a big moment for him and for the New Day as a whole, if they can do that and do that effectively. So I'm in on this now. I'm excited to see where this goes. Let's get some comments in the chat for a variety of different folks waiting to get in on the conversation here. Sean says here, both made good points, and I still feel for Kofi because he has held it in for so long and had to let a lot of it out. Yeah, 100%. And that's part of the great point, Sean. That's part of the emotion that I'm talking about. Like, you felt that. You felt that when he talked to Xavier Woods. It's like, I've been holding it in, I've been holding it in, I've been holding it in. And then based on what you said, Xavier Woods, now I'm not holding it in anymore. And you could tell it kind of pained him to kind of go there with his comments. And that he didn't really want to have this fight with Xavier Woods, but he had to, based on what Xavier was saying. So yeah, shrewd point, Sean, and really well done on the part of Kofi to sell that reality. Eddie says here, finally, the New Day are about to be done. Have Xavier destroy Kofi with the trumpet. I mean, yeah, it's a trombone, technically, Eddie. It is a trombone, I believe. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go with this. Xavier Woods has to be the heel, I think. Sean mentions that in the chat here. True, Eddie Xavier has to be the heel. Yeah, he does, and I think he will, and they're certainly heading that way. Let me put your comment back up, Eddie. But it needs to be vicious, whatever it is, whether it's with the trombone or not, or whether it's just a chair, or whether it's just some other kind of like vicious attack. Like, yeah, it absolutely has to be something significant and it has to be definitive, and a definitive turn that Kofi doesn't want to see. That Kofi doesn't want to see coming. So yeah, well said, Eddie. The boss is in the chat and says the best Kofi promo since his initial feud with Randy Orton after dumping paint on the race car. Yeah, boy, that seems like, holy cow, that seems like an eternity ago. But yeah, I mean, Kofi did find his voice as a promo there at that time, and this was excellent. This was, I think he's had some good promos since then, boss. But yeah, this was next level. This was next level stuff, without question. So they've got this on the right track. They've got this on the absolute right track here. The boss says, my concern is if they go singles, what happens to both? Kofi has done everything. Woods only has tag titles and King of the Ring. Well, yeah, that is a good concern, a reasonable concern. I don't see either of them as, singles guys that are going to get world titles here. They're just not at that level anymore. Both Kofi and Xavier. So then I don't think they have to be at that level. I think, unfortunately, I think they both kind of land around like the Chad Gable level, to be frank. Like, I just think that's where they are at this point. And they're going to have this big blow off feud. It's going to do good business. It's going to be good for them. It's going to get them a WrestleMania match. So they're in the mix. I mean, they're in the mix right now for a major match at the biggest show of the year. And I don't even know really that that Paul Levesque is thinking about what comes next. Because the important thing here is getting the breakup right, getting the storyline right. That's the key. And then you kind of let the pieces fall where they may after the fact. Maybe Xavier Woods gets a run with the IC title at some point. I don't know. But really, the point here is the break up and the matches between the two. I think you figure out the rest. I think you figure out the rest after this, because I just don't think they're a priority as a singles act or tag team at this point in time. Like, it's not like they've been this prominent tag team either. So really, like, this is on TV not to set them up for anything, but to just have the New Day, which has all this history, have a feud, and have a long-term story arc. And that's the point here. Good comment though, boss. Andrew H brings up another angle here. And Andrew says, or we could just leave one of the highest merchandise grossing acts in history alone and let them do their thing. Yeah. Well, Andrew, I mean, at some point, these acts, run their course. I mean, they have had a 10-year run. You don't see many like stars at all have that kind of a run, let alone tag team acts. They just don't. They don't, especially in WWE where tag teams are not like a featured thing. You don't have tag teams main eventing too many shows. So to say that they've been there for 10 years is a huge, huge accomplishment. And to me, I think you owe it to the group to do a breakup. Like, I think you owe it to Kofi and Xavier to have this chapter in their story and not be, a greatest hits act that comes out there and just, flings pancakes around and plays the trombone. Like, you could see that got really, really stale. And I think you just owe the New Day itself the opportunity to make their stuff not stale. And this makes their stuff not stale. Like, if they kept that going out there doing the same thing, it's like, all right, great. But we've been there, we've done that. And I think there's just more value in breaking them up and doing the feud. And then you could always bring them back together at some point down the road. Like, that's certainly a card they can play at some point. So that's coming too. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. All right, so we'll talk more about that next week. They're doing the 10th anniversary celebration, so we will talk about it then. But thumbs up on that angle, top angle on the show, and really the best segment on the show, top to bottom. The other really good segment though was the Gunther Damian Priest opening kind of brawl. I mean, man, Gunther, boy, That's how you present a Gunther that shows self-doubt and is lacking some confidence. That's how you do it. Not with one little attack and punch to the gut like last week. That, no. This week, they really showed nuance in that. Look, if you haven't, go back and watch Gunther walk to the ring. There's like not the same aura of him walking to the ring that there usually is. He changed that up for the sake of this story. The guy is a master. The beatdown was really effective with Damian Priest walking out there and putting Gunther through a table, getting the one up again on the champion. All this does is like it puts heat on Damian Priest chasing that title. It makes you think that maybe he's going to win. And I don't think he's going to. I think Gunther overcomes here and he kind of gets past this whole lack of self here. I think that's the story. But Damian Priest in the process has looked really good. I mean, like his offense this week, the razor's edge for the table, thumbs up. He got a huge pop. I mean, he got a huge reaction, huge crowd reaction when he came out. One of the pops of the night. That's a good sign, and a lot of that has to do with Gunther, but a lot of it has to do with Priest too. And then, the pose after with the title, putting Gunther through the table, like it all makes Priest this like very credible challenger, and really, it's on Gunther's shoulders to sell. And so Gunther. I think Sean Sanchez here. Gunther needs to dominate. Honestly, in the match, he will find his confidence and his swagger. Like, yeah, that's what's coming. I mean, that's what's coming, and Gunther will dominate. I just think that this helped Priest out greatly, and it shows the value that Gunther has to WWE at this point. He is very important to what WWE wants to do, and I thought Damian Priest plays off it really, really well and is reaping the benefits of working with a heel like Gunther. So absolute thumbs up on that. In the main event, we saw Bianca Belair beat Nia Jax for the advantage in the Women's War Games match at Survivor Series. So now Team Rhea Ripley will get a one-person advantage all throughout the match until everybody's in the cage. Here's the thing, and I just want to call this out. And some people might not want to accept this. And I just wrote about this for Brass Ring Media this morning. And you can check it out right now at Brass Ring Media's Substack newsletter. That's our newsletter where all our written work lives. Head there, right now-ish. And subscribe. Totally free. You get all our written work right to your inbox every morning. So don't sleep on that. We got a good team working over there. You catch all my written work and written work from the team on WWE, but all sorts of other promotions as well. So Brass Ring Media on Substack. Cool? Go do it. But I wrote this morning and some people won't want to accept the reality that Nia Jax is becoming a pretty valuable performer for WWE and a reliable one. That match last night, nothing fancy there. It's really simple stuff. It's Nia Jax beating up Bianca Belair firing up, making the comeback, and winning the match. Like, that's like pro wrestling 101. That is match psychology and match construction 101, basic level. Nia Jax pulls that off so well because she's so believable as a heel, and she's so different, and she's so unlikable when she's out there. She's there to make her baby faces look good. She's there to shine them up. And she does a wonderful job with that. And she's really come a long way in that regard. The way she kind of can just stalk her opponents, and the simple moves from her look really great. Like a leg drop, right? It's a simple move, but when she does it, because of her size, it just looks devastating. And she's really come a long way. Andrew H is in the chat here and says, Nia is fantastic. She's improved her in-ring game, but the character work is where she shines brightest. Yeah, I mean, you don't like her. She's not trying to be a cool heel. She's trying to be an obnoxious heel that you don't like, and she plays that part. So she's important to the Raw brand, or excuse me, to the SmackDown brand right now, and to WWE as a whole. And when the time comes for her to do business with Tiffany Stratton, she will, and she'll be responsible or partly responsible for helping Tiffany Stratton get to that next level. So don't go sleeping on Nia Jax. I like the match quite a bit. You know, again, simple formula. Bianca Belair overcomes. It's looking like Bayley is going to take the fifth woman spot on Team Rhea Ripley, based on what we saw this week, as she kind of made good with Bianca Belair. It seems like that's exactly where we're headed, and that makes the most sense, frankly. I mean, it's not the flashiest choice, like Becky Lynch. I know was floated around there. I floated her out there yesterday, but really, Bayley does make, she does make the most sense. She does make the most sense. All right, so that's Raw. That's Raw. Let's preview this week's episode of NXT. I think that will be a good, fun show. We've got more qualifying matches for the Iron Survivor Challenge. So we've got 2 of them scheduled, one on the women's side, one on the men's side. Ethan Page versus Axiom will compete in an Iron Survivor Challenge match. Kalani Jordan versus Julia in an Iron Survivor Challenge match, qualifying match, excuse me. We also have Fallon Henley versus Tatum Paxley for the NXT North American Championship on the women's side. And we have an NXT North American Championship match on the men's side, Tony D'Angelo versus Shawn Spears. So I think that's a pretty fun show. Julia versus Kalani Jordan, I think, is the match to watch out for. Kalani Jordan has come a long way, a really long way. And so working with Julia is going to be interesting to see what the 2 of them can do together. So I'm really excited for that. I see Julia winning that match. I see Ethan Page winning his, and both of them qualifying for the Iron Survivor Challenge in a week or so at NXT Deadline. The title matches, I mean, they are what they are. I think both champions retain. So there's not going to be much of a surprise in that regard. It's just more so, can they have good matches, and how do they do those matches? So, that's all those are. Shawn Spears, like, God, I don't know. I just don't know what value the guy has on TV at this point in time. Like, I guess to do this job for Tony D'Angelo, but that's about it. That's about it. All right, that's NXT. We'll look at the show. We'll review the show tomorrow right here. Oh, actually, we won't. So, yeah, I'll just do the news right now before we get into one last comment, and then we ride off into the sunset. Because of the Thanksgiving holiday, we will not have 1TS Daily tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. We will pick back up on Monday. I'll try to post some kind of Survivor Series preview for you guys, or at least link back to our Survivor Series preview that we do for Brass Ring Media. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel, but we won't have 1TS Daily live because of the Thanksgiving holiday tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. Cool. Just between travel and family, and you guys got things going on, so do we. Good time to just kick back, take a break, and we'll be back in the saddle next week, but also over the weekend for Survivor Series, and we'll have that all covered for you at One True Sport on social media. So definitely check that out for sure. Cool. If you got questions, find me on the socials at Zack_Heydorn on Twitter, Zack Heydorn at Blue Sky. So I've been spending a lot of time at Blue Sky. Much better. Find me there, please, so I don't have to go back. I don't want to go back. Find me there. All right. Let's see. We got a final question here from the boss, and it's a good one to speculate on. Who attacked Jade? Bayley, Charlotte, Naomi, or Bianca? There's 2 options as far as I'm concerned, and really only two good ones, and both would indicate where WWE is going with Bianca at WrestleMania. You either have Charlotte Flair or Bianca Belair. That's it. Those are the 2. I mean, those are the 2 options that make the most sense. I would venture to guess that it's Bianca Belair. I think that's the match they're building to at WrestleMania. So with that as the end point, and as we get closer and closer to the new year here, you got to green light that feud at some point. And it sounds like Jade's going to be out for a while, legitimately. So now they've got a built-in reason for them to feud. Maybe it would have happened differently had Jade been around. But now that she's not, this is an easy way to like get her back whenever you get her back, and she's instantly got something to do, and she instantly has a big match waiting for her in Bianca Belair. So I'm taking Bianca here as my pick, and I think Charlotte makes sense too. As Andrew H says, Bianca, CHBK Triple H from July of 2002. Exactly. It's like one of the, yes, absolutely perfect callback. That's exactly what it would be like. So yeah, exciting times for Bianca Belair. Christopher says Bailey face, so she couldn't attack Jade Cargill. Well, I mean, she could. She could turn heel, right? I don't think that that's likely, though. Again, I think it's either Charlotte or it's Bianca. Take that to the bank, all right? Take that to the bank. All right, you guys, we will wrap up there. If you want to check out more of my work, you can at Brass Ring Media. We've also got columns going up on our Substack newsletter every single day. So subscribe to our Substack newsletter on Substack. Just search Brass Ring Media Substack, and you will find us, and it is totally free to do so. To get all of our live shows, subscribe to our Brass Ring Media YouTube channel, and or subscribe to Brass Ring Media where you get your podcasts. All of our live shows that we run on the YouTube channel are simulcast on our podcast feed. So wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us. If you're a YouTuber and you want to just stay in the YouTube universe, you can do that too. It's Brass Ring Media in both places. And I hope you find us. We got some cool stuff coming up for Survivor Series and a lot more. Cool? All right, guys, listen. Thankful for you all. This show, we started the show on June 3rd. And we've done a lot of episodes, and you guys have been here for each one. The participation is amazing. Couldn't happen without you guys. It just couldn't. It just could not happen and wouldn't happen without you. I love the community that we're building here. Looking forward to the show next week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday if you're celebrating with family and friends. Safe travels if you're traveling with friends and family or to friends and family. And hope you all have a very, very nice Thanksgiving and a nice break. I know I'll try to as well. And, once again, just thank you for everything. Thank you. I'm Zack Heydorn. This is One TS Daily. It's for Once Your Sport. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and we'll talk to you guys really, really soon. See ya.